Hi, my name is Charles A. Mazzarella, and I am the author of The Lion Shares. It is a collection of 39 short stories and 8 poems. Here it is. Unfortunately, there is a bit of a reflection. I tried the best I could, and it's coming right from the glossy book off the screen, the laptop screen. So anyway, um, this is an introductory video to a series of videos of me, the author, who is going to read stories from the book. Some of the stories are short and some of them are a lot longer. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them. I don't know if I'm going to read the long ones because the longer stories will require 2 or 3 videos unless it could all be done, if it has to be uploaded and it's 2 hours long or something like that, it may have to be broken up into a few pieces if I was going to upload it to YouTube. It's very possible I can upload the whole thing, but anyway, as they say, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So I have a few intentions for this introduction. The first is to talk a little bit about the history of the book, where most of the stories and poems were written. I'd like to talk about the title, and maybe a little bit of where the book is going. Also, there will be a second collection of short stories, most of which are already written. I have a few more to write. I have to come up with some ideas and write them. A few stories to finish, and hopefully, probably next year, that book will be out sometime. But right now, this is a promotion for The Lion Shares. Let's talk about the title for a minute. The Lion Shares there's a significance to that for me. Looking back, I can see that was a bad choice for a title. Interesting, but when you Google the lion's share, like a majority of something, the lion's share, that you can't find my book, basically. That's the title that comes up if you Google my book, The Lion Shares. A lot of times the lion's share is going to come up because it's a phrase that has existed a lot longer than the title of my book. So the Lion Shares, here's the little history behind that. In 4th grade, I was supposed to be the Cowardly Lion for a play, I guess, a 4th grade play that the teacher wanted to have. Unfortunately, my sister, who was younger than myself, the two of us got chickenpox, and I wasn't able to perform as the lion, where you'd have to sing and all that. Anyway, I mean, we all of the characters had to sing, and so unfortunately, because I got the chickenpox, I didn't get to play the Cowardly Lion. I also like lions, even though they are sort of vicious animals, etc. So that's, I don't know, I just chose what I thought was a witty title, The Lion Shares. Me sharing my stories and poems. Okay. Most of the stories were written when I was in the active duty United States Army with the 1st Cav Division out of Fort Hood, Texas, when my unit, my company, my battalion, my brigade, all of us, the whole unit, we were all stationed in Baghdad, Iraq. I was there twice. Some of my other, the people that I served with, fellow soldiers, got to go a few more, or at least 1 or 2 more times. The first time I was there with my unit, I was only there 7 months. We went to a place called FOB Falcon. FOB stands for Forward Operating Base. FOB Falcon was near Baghdad, and it was also called or referred to as FOB Farrenhuggins, but Not too many people referred to it as that when we were there. I just, heard it as another name. Maybe it was when before we got there, or even before that. I don't know. Anyway, probably before we got there. Definitely then, but I don't know how far back. The short of it is, it was basically a mud hole. It was this very dusty, uh, barren base that was surrounded by a 20-foot wall that was located near a very dangerous neighborhood at the time. So at the time I was there, I was with a medical company. I was a mental health specialist, and there was some downtime. Obviously, when the medical company helped Iraqi soldiers or Iraqi, police officers that were hurt, shot by insurgents or whomever they were fighting against. Obviously, we also helped U.S. soldiers, Navy, or very rarely if they came in, or Air Force or whatever, but mostly it was U.S. soldiers. When we weren't helping them, we had downtime. What I did mostly is worked with a psychologist. And well, the first time, I guess it was, the first time it was a social worker, and I think briefly with a psychiatrist, but mostly with the social worker. And I would interview and talk with, sometimes at length or for multiple quote unquote sessions, men and women that had stress about being in Iraq. We talked about anger and sleep issues. During my downtime, I had time to write. I only wrote maybe about 5 or 6 stories there then. The second time, same situation. We were there for 14 months, and we went to the first base that I had mentioned before for 4 months, and then we went to the second base for 10 months. Same situation. When there was a need for us to do our duty as a medical company, specifically myself as a mental health specialist, I was there to do my duty. There was some downtime, and whatever it was, I wrote prolifically. I don't know what it was. I wrote a poem called "The Mystery of Written Word," and it baffles me still that the stories came so easily. I had some ideas, I wrote down ideas on an idea sheet or something, and but there were times I was writing a story a day, or I had an idea and then I would finish it the next day, whatever it was. So I ended up coming back home having probably more than 39 stories and 8 poems, and I had to put them in a book, or I wanted to share them. Otherwise, they would just be on a thumb drive or in a desk somewhere, or something like that. So I had the money. Thankfully to the Army, thanks to the Army, I had the money to self-publish, and the lion's shares is the result. That's the history of the book. Like I said, this is a little project that I've been wanting to do for a while. There are 5 or 6 videos of me reading stories, and but not every, that obviously not every story is on video. It may happen that not every story may ever be on video. I don't know what will happen. I just don't know if I'm inclined to put all of them on there. But if I get good reception, if it's, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you like the story, reach out to me. I have a Facebook page. The book has a website. The book has a Facebook page, and there's an Amazon page where a majority, well, I think all of the stories are listed, or a majority of them, and most of the content of each story is listed. They don't allow the entire content, Amazon. They don't allow the entire content of the story, because it would be sort of, somebody wouldn't buy a short story that way. Or at the same time, it's supposed to be like a copyright protection. So if you are interested in reading the stories yourself, go to Amazon, and my ebook there is $1.99. If you want to buy a hard copy or a paperback, they're also there. Some of them are used. A lot of them are, obviously the rest are brand new. Um, this book is not available in any stores at this time. It was at one time. That was a service I had to pay for. That went away, and it was expensive, and there weren't many sales. So I guess I'm relying on the internet. So just Google the lion's shares, and you'll see that there's a website. Then there are stories, there are videos, and there soon will be more videos. That's about it for this introductory video of the lion shares. And I want to thank, it's been around since June of 2010. And I'd like to thank the many people that have, not a lot of people, but some people, the people that have bought the ebook, that bought the paperback and the hard copy, and that have come out to hear me read when I was in northeastern Pennsylvania, and maybe saw me at various book shows in New Jersey, etc. So thank you again, and I encourage you to enjoy the lion shares and read the stories and buy the book and tell others, and thank you. Like I wanted to say, there will be a second book. Most likely it will be coming out next year. I don't know. But I guess I didn't mention this, I am already working towards a second book. I have about 20 stories already, and some of them were written years ago, and some of them are written the last year or so. I still have some that I need to finish, and some that I still need to come up with the idea to write about. So anyway, there will be a book. Look for it next year. And at this time, please Google the lion shares, and look for this book on Facebook, and take the time to read some short stories if you're looking for something different to read. Thank you again, and here again, there's the lion shares. Thank you very much.